authorities today, right? So no leniency for the 3 cops who are the bad guys. They're going to be arrested, the source said. They're not part of the brotherhood. They're not part of any fraternity. They're going to be arrested like anybody else. I didn't write it. Checkerboards, rock groups, strange imagery. It's been pointed out by the people in the know. Let's just take this one for a moment. I'm not making any comment about the Beatles, let's leave that aside, but just the imagery, this study with educated eyes, the symbolism. This is a procession to a funeral. John Lennon is God, he's wearing white. Ringo Starr is the sexton, or the presiding priest, who dresses in the black cassock. The grave digger with, the actual corpse is Paul McCartney. That's why he has bare feet and a suit, his best suit you get buried in, you know what I mean? And the grave digger, he's in jeans and jacket, is George Harrison, walking on Abbey Road on a black and white checkerboard. Checkerboards, Chevrolet, corporations using the checkerboard. Would that sell you on anything? Why would they choose that logo? So there we have it. They are the chess masters, as Sidney Webb pointed out, and that's how they consider us. They consider, as he is saying, that it's just a game. It's just a game, so we need to know the rules, don't we, if we want to play the game with them. The double cross that you see here, you see the knight wearing the cross of Lorraine, what's called the cross of Lorraine, on the checkerboard. And you see that Exxon are also using that double cross, and many other corporations use it. I've had to edit this a lot, so you'll see this double cross a lot. It's from the province in France called Lorraine, and it's also called the Knights of Malta Cross. You might be interested to know that Martin Luther King, who was shot in Memphis, was killed in what they called the Lorraine Motel. They leave tracks, for those who know. The double cross. But one of the all-time most pervasive symbols is, of Freemasonry and the Templars is the cross and the crown. They like it because it signifies the means of operation. Their modus operandi of how they've gained their power through the 2 forces of religion and monarchy. State, you see, and religion. The cross and the crown, or crown and gown, as we call it over in England. 2 forms of slavery. Here on California State in Hayward, their magazine here, you'll find it replete with double crosses and pyramids and Masonic symbols, a globe and so on. Here is the Knights of Malta cross of the Knights of Columbus being used, and you'll find that is an ancient symbol going back to Samaria here. You see that? And this is Celtic from the Picts in Scotland. You'll see the Malta cross. What's now being used as the Malta cross has very, very ancient ancestry, as does the swastika and the serpent. Many, many thousands of years old. Turning up in all sorts of weird places. Wait a minute. First it was the ancient Picts of Scotland, and now we find it on the flag of the Nazis. Here it is, the Knights of Malta cross. And the 3 oak leaves, remember the number 3 being important? The Knights of Malta cross. There we find it on the crown of the Queen of England. So what's the connection between the British royal family and the Nazi party? I don't know. Maybe we should look into that. You find the red cross, or again the cross, on lots of areas. This flag on the left is the flag of the Sovereign Military Order of Malta. But you find a very similar motif on Switzerland and for the Red Cross. And in other areas as well. Oh, what's this then? Anybody open a book on the Templars, you know, the Crusades, and you'll find that they wore the white with the red cross. And here you have a serpent eating a man. A very old motif, by the way. So let's just again emphasize that what is old turns up in the new, because the connections between what is going on in our society and its history many thousands of years ago is of seminal importance in all of this. To understand the times that we're in, we have to look to origins as well. And look at the symbols and how they're being used. Here's a drink, a company that came out called Sobe. But Sobe is a play on words. It's an Egyptian word to do with the god of the underworld, Sobek, the crocodile-headed god of the underworld that represented the lower appetites. A word that doesn't mean anything in English, Sobe. Here we have the Knights of Malta cross, the red cross on Xilinx Corporation. Who is running them? And the strange name, Xilinx, where did that come from? We have the symbol of the Knights of Malta cross. It was also called the Black Sun. And we have it turning up on the Arco symbol, which is again the same image of the Knights of Malta cross, just turned it a little bit to the side. And the word Arco, again, means nothing in English. And it doesn't stand for Atlantic Richfield Company and all of that. What it is a Latin word. It comes from the word archon. If you add an N to the end of it, it comes from the word archon, which means fallen angel. Arco means fallen angel. If you are familiar with my work on Atlantis, that will mean something to you, those who've read that book. Another one of the symbols is the dove. How holy, how wonderful. Well, it's not Christian. It's another symbol of secret societies, because in Spanish and in Italian, the word for dove is columb, right? That's why it's the Knights of Columbus symbol. The Knights of Columbus, or the Knights of the Column, use the dove as their symbol. Anybody get out the James Bond movie, I think it's For Your Eyes Only, one of the terrorists there, one of the assassins, is called the dove, and he wears the symbol. Yeah, you'll find this. And you find the symbol of the dove on the maces of the Queen of England, and that's where you get District of Columbia, Columbia Records, pictures, British Columbia, Christopher Columbus. Where do all the drugs come from? Happen to be just from Columbia. Why? Because there's somebody called the Knights of Columbus purveying them from that place, and only too happy to let you know that they're doing it. And you may have heard about a place called Columbine High School, the place of the doves. Ah, well, anyone who's done their occult homework knows that the Cagliostro's Egyptian rite, one of the great occultists from the ancient world, was called Cagliostro. He invented a Masonic rite called the Egyptian rite. And you need to know about this because it said it involved a virginal boy or girl as an oracle or even priest. These virgins were known in Masonic circles as the columns, the doves. They were sacrificial. Columbine High School. We've heard a lot about it, but we haven't heard about the ritual side of it too much, connecting to these old Masonic rituals. The owl is a symbol of the Bohemian society, but it goes way back to the cult of Minerva and Lilith, the goddess Lilith. And the owl is on the dollar bill. Hidden away in the right corner of the dollar bill is the symbol of the owl, because it goes back again to ancient secret societies. One of their symbols is the Tudor rose. The rose is a hallmark of secret societies. Nothing evil with a rose, it's just who's using it and what for. You'll find it copiously used in the imagery of the Grateful Dead. Bob Weir of the Grateful Dead is a member of the Bohemian Society. You'll find it on corporations that have long ancestry. And on tech companies, .com companies, you'll see the use of the red rose, and you'd wonder why the association. Here it is a corporate ad for Viagra. An interesting word, that, if you get into it, it actually means the blood royal, or it means the river of blood, because that's your libido. They're giving you this product to raise your libido and using words that mean that. We have all of the different cosmetic companies here around the symbol of a flower. See that? These are all the famous companies indicating to you that they come from one source. The number 322 is important in occult circles because it's the lodge number of the Skull and Bones Society from Yale University. Why they use it is, there's many interpretations depending on who you are. Since these people are so involved in symbolism of astrology, not the astrology that's put before us today commonly, but a different kind of astrology, this relates to actually the spring equinox, okay, which is 321, March 21st and 22nd, when the sun, which is their great symbol, rises on the eastern horizon on March 22nd. That's one of the reasons why they use that. And the skull comes because these individuals were originally part of the pirates, what are known as the pirates, or the men of fire, who were sent out by the agents of the British royal family to colonize America. They weren't just a bunch of swashbucklers like you've seen in the movies. No, these were agents who were sent under the high seas to colonize the countries like America and to annihilate through disease and war anybody that stood in their way. And they did a good job, and their ancestors then opened the Skull and Bones fraternities and the other occult fraternities that are here for the education of their own children. And they even call themselves the men of fire, or the pirates, pyra,